yo, we got the best basketball team on the planet. Like, anybody said that, we like, yo, we got Jordan. And nobody can say nothing. It's gonna be a moment in your career. It's gonna be a moment where you're gonna get that moment to get people's attention. And once you get them, you gotta keep it. Chicago, at the end of the day, is not an entertainment market. It is.
Yo, welcome to Flight School TV. We're here for another episode. We still sheltering in place right now, and today I got a great guest, man, Tone Kapone, a trailblazer for the city of Chicago in itself. You know, whether it's being on air personality or actually being in the nightclub scene, or you might see him in some acting gigs. You know what I'm saying? This Tone Kapone, man, a legendary figure in Chicago, if I can say so myself, man. I thank you for being on the show.
No problem. No, thank you for having me. I appreciate all those kind words. It's my pleasure. That's all. Let's do this. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Well, before we get started, though, I want to let you know something that you might not know, man. You know, when I first started Flight School TV, it was never my intention to be in front of the camera. I always wanted to play the background. But I was actually forced out of necessity to be in front of the camera. And so when it came down to me, like, learning how to actually be in front of a camera and hold the interview, it was you, Leon Rogers, Charlemagne, and even T.I. that really showed me like how to hold a conversation. And I'm still learning, man, but I had to let you know, man, I learned a lot from just watching y'all over the years. So when it was my time to step in front of the camera, man, I watched y'all and I kind of emulated that.
Man, that's the best way. Thank you. That's a lot of that's real big accolades. But honestly, to be keep it a buck with you, that's the way you grow, right? You got to watch people. You watch just great sport figures and try to figure out how to be like them and add your own twist to it. And for me, growing up and especially growing up in radio, I watched and listened to so many different people to try to get a style of mine and just kind of basically, why not watch the best or watch people that are professionals? You got to watch, they get paid to do it and figure out how I can be like them. I think a lot of times people, they're like, nah, man, I want to be my own way. And they don't want, it's nothing wrong with studying somebody that's winning at something. And I, like with myself, I still watch a Big Boy. I still watch Charlemagne. I still watch a lot of the great ones. Colin Cowherd. I listen to Howard Stern. I'm always trying, because this is a craft. You always got to try to get better at it. And if you don't, you'll become stale and it won't work, right?
Yeah. But first thing first, man, how are you doing during this time right now, man? I'm following you on IG. I'm mostly asking for the followers.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, I'm bored out of my mind. But I've gotten a lot of things done creatively that I normally wouldn't get done. So that's the thing. That's the great thing about.
Here we are again. Another day.
Hold on one second. I'm in the studio. And so I'm getting a lot of great things done, which is cool. Which is cool. But for me, I'm a social person, so it's affected me in a way. I had to tell people, like, I had to meditate. I had to listen to meditation. I had to do a lot of different things, pray, because I'm having a little trouble with it. I don't really go to sleep till 3 or 4 in the morning every morning.
Yep. And I think that's an aspect that's probably getting overlooked in these times that we're living in right now. The interactions with people. We, as human beings, like, we need that interaction. You know what I'm saying? And you being in your position, I can imagine it being more intensified than an average person. And especially with your activity in the nightlife scene, man, that's been taking a crazy hit, man. And I think, like you said in one of your IG lives, I think that's an aspect when we're talking about small businesses and people that's taking real major hits during this time. People often like to overlook the nightclub thing, thinking it's just a party and you just missing out on a maybe experience to kick it that night. But it's people livelihoods. It's bartenders that really, make a living and feed their families off being able to serve those drinks. It's nightclub owners. It's the promoters. It's an entire ecosystem.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. And that, that was the thing. Like, 'cause I said some stuff about it, and people kind of brush it under the table. Like, you should be talking about other stuff. So I'm like, no, those are real people that I've been around and seen and watched them grow, and went from being servers to being managers to watch people that were busting tables, and now they host, and they up their money all of a sudden, and then now it's just gone, because in nightlife you need the consumer to come in there to partake for you to make the money. So yeah, I'm in a space where I'm hopeful that things hurry up and return back to normal, because not even just for the party situation, just for people's regular lives. Because I know I'm not the only one that's feeling away. Like I said, I miss the social interaction, just being able to go and chill at the Soho House or chill somewhere, have it's many times people see me out. I might be by myself at a bar having a nice meal and having a drink. That I enjoy that. I enjoy our restaurants. I enjoy that type of thing, and it's been taken away. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I feel you on that in that aspect. What type of entertainment you've been taking in? I know you've been tuned in. What you think about the versus battles and all that, man, that we've been seeing?
Yeah, you know what? The verse battles are dope. I'm rocking with those for the culture. I really like those. I definitely try to watch. I play the video game, and I turn the mixes on. So like Sean Max Club, Essential, of course, D Nice, Commando's been doing great. Protege's been doing great. All of the DJs in the city been really rocking out. I've been trying to check in on them. And also the entertainment wise, like I said, Netflix, I probably watch everything. And once Netflix puts up a new content, I'm right on it, like we all are. I watched, now what I was doing, I was like, I'm not going to watch any movie that I saw before, but I watched Django over, watched The Hateful Eight over. I've been watching some Heat over, things that one of the great ones, yeah. I'm rewatching them and just checking them out to pass the time.
So speaking of the versus battle, who is somebody that we haven't seen yet that you think we should see? I'm a big advocate for Kanye.
Yeah. Kanye, see, it's certain people that would break the internet. It would completely break the internet, and it's something that we need, right? I would say like a Kanye and whomever at this point. It don't even matter. I'm definitely looking forward to Snoop Dogg and 50, even though I'm just saying 50 should probably battle Ja Rule because that's more his space. Snoop just been out too long.
Yeah.
He been out too long. I mean, maybe almost double the years that 50 been out almost, I would say almost, or close to it, at least 6 or 7 head years start. And Snoop got real dumbass, super classic hits that'll blow 50 out the water. So I don't want to see it. I'm a big 50 Cent fan. I don't want to see that happen to him. I want to see some R&B groups. I want to see some more ladies go at it. I want to see definitely some more ladies like a Trina. Trina got a lot of stuff. I definitely want to see a Wayne pop in there. And I would be honest with you, now I just said it, Wayne and Kanye would be crazy.
Yeah. Or even like from the producer aspect, Wayne and Diddy. But Diddy, people sleep on his catalog. That's why they tried to match him up with Dre. But I don't know if that, like, I heard a couple of rumors that were saying, like, you got to be careful with that New York Cali thing, man, because that was real for a lot of people, and you don't want to spark those emotions again. Even with, like, Monica and Brandy, they was talking about bringing them two together, and they also had their little issue at some point in time. So, yeah, you got to, some of these things I feel like you got to treat them delicately. In other words,
it makes sense because a lot of them, they had real issues with each other. So the Dr. Dre and Diddy, I don't know. I think more in those situations, maybe not a verse, maybe not a verses, but maybe somebody hosting their hits in a way.
Yeah, a representative almost.
And he played, let's go through a showcase. It's like a showcase of his hits.
Yeah.
And go through, because there are people that, the 24, 23, they might not know a lot of them records that Dr. Dre did. And Dr. Dre catalog is dumb, and so is Diddy's. So in the case of them having a versus, maybe not a versus, maybe somebody hosting their hits.
But honestly, that's one of the things that I love about this little versus thing that we're seeing right now is the fact that, a lot of people that might not be hip to these records, they discovering them. And like my like moment that I never forget, and it's the one thing that I think I take away from the quarantine as far as entertainment the most was seeing Teddy Riley and Babyface. Like these is icons, and you'll never see them just on some IG live type vibe. They usually secluded somewhere. You never know what's going. You know, they from that old era of celebrity, so you don't really see them doing stuff like that, man. And that was a treat to be able to watch that. What about the? But what about the? I seen you and Leon talking about the Jordan documentary, man. Like, how you been learning a lot from it, or you pretty much like heard these stories already?
Yeah, you know what, me and Leon, we lived it, right? So some of the stuff you don't get a chance. I think the best thing for me and for everybody else is we've never heard Michael Jordan talk this long. In this amount of time, this candidly, Mike's usually bop, bop, bop. It's a statement, bow, he keeps going. He says a couple things and it keeps going. But this is Mike being candid. It's getting a chance to see Mike talking. To get a chance to see Mike, talking-ish. It's just, the thing of it is like you said, that's from the old school celebrity, like 90s, the celebrities, like, and we sure the new celebrities and the older celebrities, they not different. They just didn't post everything, and there wasn't a camera around to catch people, and people weren't trying to get caught. Even the guys that wrote the books, man, yeah, they made a couple bucks off them books, but they were vilified. Yep. Because they tried to bring down Jordan. It was a small percentage of the world that was like, all right, yeah, okay, Mike bet it, and they was all into it. But other people was like, why are you telling Mike's business? You know what I mean? So that's just one of the great moments. Just seeing Mike talk and seeing some of those behind the scenes stuff. I'm enjoying the interviews after the Last Dance. So some of this, anybody that was a part of it, they go on the sports talk radio and they telling their stories. So this whole little moment is real cool for me.
Yeah, it's another dope moment that I would compare to the Babyface and Teddy Riley moment, man. Like, this documentary is everything in this moment. And I'm the same way. I'm enjoying hearing Mike Wilbon, hearing Stephen A. and Skip Bayless talk about, even though some of the stuff I don't agree with, but, I love hearing they take. But the one question that I want to ask you, and I don't want to spend too much time on it because anybody that follow your Instagram can see these IG live conversations you've been having, and thank you for that. Thank you for providing that level of entertainment during this time, because I'm tuned in. I need that right now. But what do you remember the streets being like? Like, not as far as like they doing a lot of interviews with people that was involved with the team, the people that was, even the security or the other players. I feel like they missing on one element, and that's what the streets was feeling like. I've talked to JoJo Capone recently. We got an interview coming out. Stay tuned for that. And I also talked to Tony Fernandez from Tony Sports, and they was just like, Tony spoke from the business aspect of having a clothing company and how somebody drove a car through the front of his store and just, it was grab whatever you can in that moment. And then from JoJo Capone aspect, he was just saying everybody was outside shooting their guns. It was a block party. It was streets packed. What do you personally remember from that time? Can you compare it to something that I can relate to? Was it like the Obama when he won president?
I would go with that. It was that level of proud because of him having the connection to Chicago. It was that moment of being proud, right? And the first championship, everybody and the city went crazy. Wow, they looted, acted nuts, like most cities do. And then as we got to winning, we got used to winning. We felt like how the Patriots fans look like, yo, we got the best basketball team on the planet. Like, anybody said that, we like, yo, we got Jordan. And nobody could say nothing. Like, nothing for years. Like, and I have tons of friends from New York. And they'd be like, we're going to whoop y'all. Y'all done. Like, nah, we got y'all this year. I was like, no, y'all don't. We got Mike. And that's it. We got Mike. And Scotty's really, really good. I was like, but I said, at the end of the day, I said, when the game is close, we got Mike. And y'all don't. And we going to win. And that was the pride of the whole thing. Like, it was, and for us, JoJo and Tony, that lived it. And the streets was just so, everybody just had that pride about basketball in the city. For us to see the Bulls where they at right now, for us to see where, the Bears are at right now, it's disappointing. And then at the end of the day, this is going to, I'm telling you, watch my words. Watch what I'm saying. Keep what I'm saying. because I'm telling you this, and Scott Van Pelt from ESPN, he kind of touched on it a little bit. Charles Barkley definitely touched on it. He is going to get after. They're going to look at Jerry Reinsdorf and all of them real crazy, because it's going to make them look crazy. Like y'all just didn't want to pay nobody, and that's why y'all got lucky and got Mike. And then you pick Scotty. Jerry Krause, that was the thing with Jerry Krause. You cannot knock what he did. Jerry Krause could pick some talent.
But I got a question about that in itself, man. Like at that time, it was known around the league that Scotty was a dog. So I mean, of course, when you pair him up with Jordan, he just reached new levels. But it wasn't like Jerry Krause just discovered a new talent. Like Scotty was already balling.
He kind of did. He came out of the blue. I mean, you got to think about it. Central Arkansas, Scotty just worked in his workouts. He was super athletic, super long, had those guard skills that at that time. I mean, now it's pretty much mandatory if you're tall to be able to dribble the ball. You're a guard if you're 6'7". But back then, for a dude to be 6'7" and dribble like that was nuts.
Right.
Like nuts. To be able to move the way Scotty could move, because most kids back then, if you were over 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", they put you in the post. It was time, and we missed out on probably a lot of basketball talent, because a lot of kids, it's pretty much genetics that if you 6'7", you start picking up that weight and being stocky enough to be in the post. If they weren't, they were considered soft and sent overseas to play that type of ball. But now we playing it over here, so it's just, I definitely want to get Jerry Krause his, because Tony Kukoc was one of the first, and people forget, Tony Kukoc was one of the first European dudes to be nice. Yeah. It was a couple for him and came in that time, but he was one of the first to be real nice. And Jerry was one of the leaders in that. It's just we didn't want to pay nobody. That's what happened. That's what's going on with the Bulls now.
I got two things to say about this. But I feel like Jerry Krause is catching a lot of the heat, and they paint him to be the bad guy. And I feel like Jerry Reinsdorf is just slowly flying under the radar, like he don't co-sign everything that happened. If that's his boss. So if you having an issue with the star player of not even just the Bulls, of the league, and you sitting here talking about, the organization running, we getting rid of XYZ, and Jordan talking about quitting, I would think in that moment, that would be a defining moment as an owner for you to override. You don't got to overstep every situation. You don't want to, micromanage everything. But I would see that as a defining moment for Jerry Reinsdorf to say, Jerry, you did a good job up until this point. You're going to have to sit this one out. We need to keep this together until it starts falling apart on his own. And I think Jerry Reinsdorf is not catching heat, and he's still an owner right now.
Right. And I think he's going to get some heat at the end, because people are going just like you. All of us, we all looking like, wait a minute. Now, we can't make Jerry, God rest his soul, Jerry Krause look crazy and not look at Jerry Reinsdorf, because at the end of the day, he could have paid people. Like you said, you made a great point. Just fact of the matter is like, you want to break up what? Nah, we keeping them. And that's what most owners would do. And that's like, credit to the great owners that are out there. It's about winning championships. To me, and it goes for me and all. And I'm not gonna say all Chicago sports, but the Bulls and the Bears are seemingly the same in that matter, and they're trying to get better. I think the Bears are trying to get a little better, and even the Bulls in a way, because I think a section of fans are getting sick of it. Is the fact that y'all can't just keep taking our money and giving us these mediocre teams. Y'all gonna have to. Chicago, man, we got legacy. Y'all can't luck up. Sometimes you're not gonna luck up and get a good draft pick. You can't be waiting for the next Michael Jordan to fall out of the sky. You can't be waiting for the next Walter Payton to come out of the sky. You might have to go take him from somewhere and pay him and pay him to come here. And I think that's the thing, because the Chicagoans so loyal to the sports, and they just like, all right, well, they just gonna keep coming and selling this place out. All we gotta do is give them just a little hope, and they'll keep making money. Yeah. It's business wise, are you mad at it? Maybe not. But as a fan perspective, you own the franchise, and you come on, you got to get the city something.
Yeah, I totally agree. I did an interview with Scoop Jackson, who worked with ESPN. He was part of the Nike Equality campaign and everything like that. And he said something in the interview I did with him that really stuck out of my mind. He was like, I was like, what can we do to change this culture that we got in our city right now as far as our sports? He was like, man, y'all sitting there waiting for the ownerships to change. That change start with the fans. He was like, we got to stop this emotional attachment that we have with wearing a Chicago Bulls hat, because we feel like that's Chicago. We rep in Chicago when we wear a Chicago Bulls hat or a White Sox hat. But he said something that really stuck out. He was like, when you look at these teams and how they play, not the actual players, they style of playing. He was like, do you feel that represents our city? I'm like, no, man, you're right, because Chicago a gritty city. Like we tough, like, and we're not really the finesse team, and we more so get in the gutters with you. And he was like, man, that's what it is. He was like, we got to get rid of this emotional attachment that we have to these sports teams just because they from our city. If they not putting out a product that represent our city, then we need to, as fans, not tweet about them, not share stories about them on Instagram. Don't even mention them. He was just go completely dead silent on them. And he was like, that'll force changes within the organization, because they'll start seeing a social activity drop, then that'll lead to sales dropping. And the more and more less relevant they become, the more it'll force a change from the ground up instead of waiting for them to figure it out from the top down.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. I said it before. You can't just blindly support it. Like, I'm a humongous football fan, my absolute first love. And I love the Chicago Bears. The reason I ever liked football was because of the Chicago Bears and Walter Payton. And the fact that they put out that garbage ass product, the fact that Mitchell Trubisky last year, I watched a little bit of the Bears because I got friends on the Bears. So I want to see my guys do good. So I'm like cheering my guys on, man. And I won't stop any of those, but I have friends on the Bears. And to watch that Mitchell Trubisky thing, and now no shade to Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah,
it's not his fault.
Bad position because he was white. It was it. It's no logical reason to pick Mitchell Trubisky outside that he was white, and you did not pick the black quarterbacks, because both black quarterbacks that went in that draft were way better than him, and you traded up to get him. And you can't tell me anything different. That the Chicago Bears did not want the leader of the face of their franchise to be an African American. Maybe they thought sales, maybe they thought a contingent of some season ticket holders probably wouldn't. Sorry about that. Season ticket holders wouldn't come back. But regardless to say, you picked, even if we had to pick Daniel Jones, well, he wasn't eligible at that time, but Daniel Jones, who was in the same conference, was better than him, and he was younger than him.
And we had more tape to watch of him.
Yeah, we had more tape. You're going to take it. It's just nothing to say. You picked the dude that wasn't even good enough to start none of those years, opposed to a person that was a 4-year starter. Deshaun Watson is an amazing, maybe has some injury issues, but you bank on that guy. Or you go get Pat Mahomes, who everybody in the draft was saying was a stud.
Yeah.
They didn't say he's going to be what he is now, but they knew he was way better than Mitchell Trubisky.
For sure.
So, yeah, that's it.
I mean, it's no other way to see that. And we see it not just with the Bears organization as far as that. And it's so obvious to see it to the, especially with us being fans. But I see that with the Bears, where they don't want the face of their franchise to be this black person, because maybe they shareholders, or maybe that's just the ownership within the Bears and the Bulls. But even like I see John Paxson in a position with the Bulls that, why wasn't Jordan in that position? Why wasn't Scotty in that position of a John Paxson? Or why wasn't Jordan able to come back and buy ownership with the team that he built? You know, so I see that in a lot of aspects around the game, man. I can talk this stuff with you all day, man. But I do want to value my time, and I do want to learn more about you because I'm personally interested. Can you walk me through your story about how you even got into doing what you do right now?
Well, I mean, for me, it's, you know, like I said, for me growing up, I tell people I wanted to play sports, realized I'm a little too small, a little too fragile to be playing sports. And so, I mean, it was God, man. I met a woman on a train. We started talking about internships. She told she could hook me up at a radio station to be like a promotional assistant. I got on the promotional assistant, and the rest is kind of history. I did that and auditioned for a weekend spot. I didn't go back to college, got that job, was doing weekends and all kind of odd jobs around the station. And man, I just really fell in love with radio. The moment I did it, just really, truly fell in love with it. Like I knew it was for me. So a lot of times, like a lot of my friends would be like, man, you doing this, you should be out here doing this, you can get money, and you know what I mean, all the different things, man. And it just, you know, I found my love, and I just, you know, I'm just speeding through it for you, but I found my love and I just pursued it with everything I had. I didn't listen to anybody. When I had to go back to school because station was over with, and, you know, my time at that station was done, I left, and man, I really went back to school with a new focus, and really, I understood that it was a craft. Like, I understood it. I was just like, yo, like, you ain't gonna never be the dopest at this if you don't work at this. And coming from being, and I think the best thing about it is coming from sports is that I treated it like a sport. And you know what I mean? And I tell people all the time, I wasn't one of the athletes that was blessed with great speed and I could jump high and I'm super tall, I'm super strong. I had to know how to play. Like that's how I got picked up playing basketball or playing football, got a chance to start because I knew how to play. You know what I mean? I could do the things necessary for me to be on the field. You know what I mean? And so I took that to radio. It's like, yo, I might not be blessed with this great voice, this incredible vocabulary that I'm pulling from every day. But I wanted to learn how to do radio the right way. And then I just would take my own influences and my own things that makes me special, and bring it to it. So I always still work. I work at it today. Like, you know what I mean? I work at it all the time. Like today I came in with a new take about, hey, I need to try to tweak this or tweak that. That's always been my goal is to just keep trying to improve even into the last day I get a chance to be on the microphone. I'm gonna always be trying to critique my show. I don't ever think it's perfect.
Yeah, and I think that the career that you're in and the career that I kind of found myself in is one of them things that it's like a comedian, man. It's like you can rock that stage forever. You can rock that microphone forever. Like you look at Howard Stern and the greats, man, like they still on the mic because they got a unique point of view. And that's one thing that I appreciate about you and Leon Rogers specifically is that y'all point of view don't seem tainted by like appearance. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm listening to y'all, it seemed like that's your genuine opinion, not overshadowed by some endorsements or, you know, some relationship. When I'm listening to y'all, it's like that's why I gravitate to people like y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like y'all speaking how y'all really feel. And whether I agree with you in that moment or not, if you said something that you truly believe to be true and that's how you feel, I can't do nothing but respect it. So that's dope, man. I appreciate that level of honesty and integrity in what you do. And I'm one of the people that's sitting right here in the wing, just, you know, studying you the way you might have studied Howard Stern or something. So I appreciate the little gems that you don't even know you giving me. But what would you consider your first big moment?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. My first big moment, man. I think the Parkers really let people know that me and Shag was for real. Like, I really think they like, cause you know, at that point we was just like, you know, we Shag and Tone, light-skinned dudes on the radio, hot boys, whatever. And, you know, me and Shag, our friendship was one of the things that was the thing that we always drove over everybody else and other duos. Like, yo, this is really my guy for real. Like, you know what I mean? So we be on it. A lot of times we on there just having fun, having a conversation that we would have just had in the car. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was our thing. But I think that the Parkers episode let everybody know that we was for real. And then we had some real opportunities to interview some real cool people. And those interviews went viral. We got a real cool interview with Game. We got a real cool interview with 50. Real cool interview with Jay. You know, we had some real cool moments that kind of like really like put people on, like put us on there. And shout out to Twin and them, to the Twins. Man, and I'm still friends with them to this day. And they really got us started in the nightlife. Everybody associated with Twin them and got us really associated in the nightlife by like, they're just like, yo, they listened to us, they liked us, put us out, start putting us in clubs, hosting clubs. So now we hosting clubs and the night got really big and we hosting this club that had this great night. So now our on-air stuff is going good. We just came off the Parkers. This is going good. So now the city kind of like really checking for us. Yeah. So now we got attention. That was the thing. And I think that's with anybody, right? I think that moment, it's going to be a moment in your career. It's going to be a moment where you're going to get that moment to get people's attention. And once you get them, you got to keep it. And I think that's what we managed to do. Once we got people's attention, we really decided to keep it and really put our foot forward.
Have you ever had a moment where you knew the interview that was coming down the pipe, but in that moment, it was like, damn, I'm really sitting next to Jay-Z right now? Or, you know, like, have you ever had that surreal moment and how did you react to
it? Jay-Z was one because I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. And I remember meeting Jay-Z when he first did, and I got super frantic to meet him. This is Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z. I'm a promotion assistant. I ain't nowhere on the air. I'm just like when our first concert, so I'm like tweaking, like, yo, I seeing all these stars, and Jay walked right in front of me. Now, at this time, you know, Jay was still big, but he wasn't big. He wasn't Jay-Z like that. You know what I mean? He was still, but I'm, you know, the hood cast, we rock with Jay. Yeah. Especially Doubt. So I'm like, yo, like, Jay, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? I'm like, man, I rock with your song. I started naming records. I was fanboying out. And Jay said, hey, man, look. He said, all right, man, I appreciate that. But hold up one second. I want to tell you something. He was like, you working. He's like, I get it. You're a fan, but remember, you working. He said, say what's up. Keep it moving, but you working, man. Don't do that no more. I was like, and I felt he sunned the hell out of me.
Yeah, I would have felt salty.
And then, you know, you got to deal with Dame Dash at this moment, laughing at me at this point. Laughing. He laughing. He like, but Jay super engaged, bro. Like, he engaged. It's not like a joking moment for him. He engaged, like he really trying to teach me something. He engaged, and then he's like, all right, man. And he left. And I was like, I was hurt for a minute. I was like, man, you know, you had all those different emotions going through it. And then I was like, you know what? He right. I'm at work. No matter how much, this is it. And I would start looking at all my other, the radio personalities. I know they fans of these people, but they gangsted up and they in their bags. They in their situations. So, excuse me. And so that kind of taught me. So I've had those moments where I'm like, yo, it's Jay, but I still keep it professional, right? You know, I'm still going to keep it professional. There's people that I'm cool with that I can't believe that I'm cool with. Like, I can't believe that I'm cool with, like Nas. It still to this day destroys me. But I don't never let it out. But I'll be like, damn, I'm cool with Nas. Like, I'm cool. I don't want to drop names, but the two, like Nas and Lorenz Tate, I like the two that I be like, yo, like Lorenz, like, what's up, Tone? I mean, Ludacris. I mean, I can name a couple. I don't want to name drop on that, but it's people that I'm cool with, man, that I'm still a fan of, but I have to be like, and keep it in. And a lot of times, even like, you just don't, some stuff you hate, you got to report it. Like, I had to report stuff about Kels. I had to do it. You know what I mean? Because people try to explain it. When I was talking about Kels, I was like, yo, I don't know that part of Kels. I don't. And I wouldn't, if I knew that part of Kels, I would not be around. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been around. I know Kels strictly from the music stuff. But because of that friendship, it kept me from, that friendship through music, because it kept me from, I want to say kept me from reporting it, but I had to figure out a way like to be objective. And then at one point I just had to call his people, or I text him. I remember when it first came out, he didn't return the text. I don't know if he got it. I text his people, him. I said, bro, I gotta go. I gotta talk about it. I'm not gonna give my opinion too much, but I'm gonna talk. I gotta say something, and that was it. You know.
How do you balance having those relationships and wanting to use them to your advantage, of course, to help you build your following, your platform, but not coming across as if you trying to only use them for that? Basically, how do you distinguish in the other person mind that I'm here because I genuinely rock with you, and not come across as an opportunist or you only here for this? Like, how do you balance that? Do you even mix the worlds together?
I don't even mix the worlds together. And I think people that are like, I don't mean like if I'm with somebody and they, you know, I know that word for them was saying, hey, check this podcast out, or check my boy out on Instagram, or follow me on, you know what I mean? I know one of them will send you to the moon, right? But I think that those people, that I know people that ask people to do that, and you know, and sometimes people do it, sometimes they ruin a great relationship. I think a lot of times the person, the celebrity, they understand what this conversation can do for you. And if they really rock with you, they're going to know that I'm going to give you access that nobody really else can get. I'm going to give you this conversation. I'm going to give you this moment that nobody else can get. So you don't have to, if you just genuinely be cool with people and, hey, what's up? And you ain't always trying to get something from them, because you got to think, you ain't the only one that's trying to, they family, they friends, the homies they just met, the girl they just met, or the man they just met, whatever it is. I'm friends with some really powerful women. And you just hope that, because in your spirit, you'll be like, hey, look, I'm going to help people out. I'm going to try to, you know, I know what my light can do for you, and I know, you know, what your light can do for me. This is one of the main reasons I'm doing the interview. Like, yo, I know your brand's growing, and to get prominent people from the city and any place else is going to help you out. But then you got people that don't, you know, probably that ain't really checking for me. So they going to see this and maybe check for me. So it's people got to understand, you can't force somebody to do something good for them. You don't want that. You want it to be authentic. You want it to be authentic in that moment. That would be my advice. I wouldn't be like asking, hey man, put me on, you know, do this. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, I would just treat the relationship and make it come authentic. It'll be more real that way.
Yeah, because that's something that I've been personally trying to deal with, you know, having certain relationships, and I don't want to come across as like an opportunist. So a lot of times I just leave that on the board. You know what I'm saying? Even though, and I get mixed reviews, because I'll come home and talk to my wife or whatever, and I'd be like, yeah, you know, I was just over here chilling with such and such. We was sharing a drink and kicking it. We exchanged numbers and everything. And from her perspective, she'd be like, why don't you hit him up and try to get him on your show? That'll help you out a lot. And I'm more so like, I don't know, because I don't really want to come across that way. So hearing that from you, that's something that I can take and apply directly to what I'm doing. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, man, this is something that's been on my mind for a long time. Ever since I got into this media thing, I'm always been wondering, why don't we have these major media outlets like a New York or California? When you look at our contribution to the game, whether it's sports or entertainment, we second to none. We brought the world Obama, Oprah, Quincy Jones, Kanye, Bernie Mac, like the list goes on and on of the talent that our city has produced. Even if they wasn't from here originally, when they came here, they became larger than life. I would even say that about Jordan, because Jordan was a down south country boy. But when he came here, he developed that swag, that confidence, and you started seeing him articulate himself a lot better. You know, that Chicago energy just embrace people once you've been here for a while. So why don't you think we have like the platforms? Like, I love what y'all do at WGCI. I love Later with Leon. You know, I watch these shows, but I also get frustrated when I'm watching them, knowing that y'all delivering amazing content, but for some reason, platforms like Breakfast Club, and I love Breakfast Club too. That's one of my favorite shows, don't get me wrong. I'm just comparing the two. Like, you see Breakfast Club with the same type of guests that y'all get through y'all doors, but you see them being considered like this major part of the culture. You see Big Boy's Neighborhood, and like I said, I'm a super big fan of Big Boy because he's been doing it since, you know what I'm saying, he was overweight, you know what I'm saying? I've been following him since then. And then you look, I mean, it's just, I can name so many different companies that I take all day, but I'm just wondering, why don't we have that in Chicago, considering our contribution to the game?
Well, you know, it's you know, I don't want to say Chicago at the end of the day is not an entertainment market. It is. Just on those coastals, just built into their culture, and it happens faster. You know what I mean? LA has everybody, all of the people, all of what they call gatekeepers, the people that make decisions. They right there. They listening to you. So if somebody got in the car and said, hey man, you heard Big Boy? Check him out. Boy, they hearing Big Boy every day. Big Boy can come down there. He ain't got to catch a flight. He right there. He in the action. Same thing with the Breakfast Club. You know what I mean? Like Charlemagne and MTV. I mean, he right there in New York. So when they making all that noise, they're like people that's in the city, there's gatekeepers that are not celebrities. The producers, the people, the creators of shows, they right there in it so they can see it. And when that machine gets going, it's like they say, like, it's the number one media market. When that machine gets going behind you in New York, it's just because it's so many people. It's got all of the gatekeepers in it. It just pushes you out to another level. Same thing with LA. Even if you look at it, it's amazing talent in Atlanta.
Now shout out to Big Tigger.
Texas and Florida, but because it's Texas and Florida, they not in those spaces. So somebody has to you have to either know somebody, you got to get the attention of somebody, you got to get in the right room with somebody, and you got to have that right moment. You got to snap. And you know, it's easier now. I'm not saying it's still not hard, but it's easier now because of the internet. So one of these views could be somebody to say, you know what? Somebody got a link to a link, and they got it and they ain't checking you out. But it's just like it's like that. You know what I mean? Like, do I think if I was on the radio in New York or LA, would my life be completely different? 100%. 100%. But that doesn't. I'm okay with it in a way that I feel like, hey man, I still think, and I tell anybody, I'm just gonna rock this boy out as hard as I can and make enough noise as I can to see what blessings come down. And I'm gonna take whatever blessings come down, and the ones that don't, I'm okay with.
See, my question is more so directed to the fans, the followers. We got a big city in Chicago, man. Like, and I'm noticing with when they start talking about bringing events like Complex Con here, you know, the All-Star Weekend, they recognizing our city, and it was beautiful what they did during the All-Star game, man. Shout out to Common and everybody else that played a part in that. That was a beautiful performance. I love how they represented our city. I felt like they did a good job. They didn't just come here and set up shop and leave. They paid tribute to the small boutiques. They paid tribute to our athletes, our entertainers. So shout out to the NBA and everybody involved. But I'm speaking more so from a fan perspective of, like, Later with Leon, for example. That show in Chicago should be one of the biggest shows in Chicago. And I'm not saying I wouldn't point the finger at any executive or anything. I'm more so asking, why is like the culture of our city so much appreciated? We appreciate things from New York. We appreciate things from California, but our homegrown team, I often feel like we get the leftovers that's left on the plate from our own city, as far as like the viewers.
I get what you're saying. I can kind of understand what you're saying. I just think Chicagoans just have to get used to it. There was a moment when Chicago, people, anything that wasn't Chicago, they wasn't messing with it. And I think that in Chicago is getting back to supporting its own, and that's really all I can say in that space is that I can understand the frustration, and I definitely know that it's coming back. I definitely seeing a shift to it. I see it in my own social media. I see people from the city all the time. I get notes from the people out the city all the time. It's like, yo, I rock with you, bro. Keep going. If I'm out and I'm in the grocery stores, hey, man, hey, keep that up. I like that stuff. You be talking some crazy, So I think the support is coming back. But we also have to remember, too, as the people that are doing it, and, Leon's show been on for almost going close to about 7 months or so. Mm-hmm. Leon's show is going to be a huge show, but it's just taking people a while to catch on to it. And the great thing about it is that the network is giving them time to let people catch on to them. And I think sometimes we want stuff to happen a little faster than what they're supposed to. But, I was on the radio for years, and only a certain section of people knew who I was. I tell people now, I don't know when it happened, or maybe when I got over here to GCI, or maybe the last couple of years or so. But I now I can say, like, when people say, before they'd be like, yeah, I'm doing my thing, and then like people now say like, yo, bro, you like a Chicago celebrity, like, and now I can feel it. Like when people say it, I say it, but then I feel it, because I would be in a not on our side of town. I'll be, how this boy sectioned up. I could be in an all-white side of town, and somebody will look at me and be like, yo, I know who you are, bro. What's up with you? Or, I'm at a Bulls game, and somebody, a white guy that got a kid and all his kids with him, a middle-class American fan come, hey, man, take a picture with me, man. Hey, that's him from this station. And now I feel it. So a lot of times we need the time to grow, the time for people to see it. I wish we would get pushed out a little bit more. That's a little bit of a frustration. I feel like that, we need more billboards, more promotions of certain things. But, that stuff comes. And if it doesn't come, we just do the best we can.
Yeah, man. And I'm always been one person that's like, one thing about me is I've been on this Only Chicago binge for going on 2 years now, to where, if you see me in a shirt, you see me in a hat, it's some leaders, it's some Hebrew. I only wear Chicago brands, and all the other stuff that I had in my closet, all the Nike, besides, of course, like the Louis Vuitton stuff that I got. But for the most part, all my stuff is transitioned to Only Chicago. So if anybody see me out shopping, I'm wearing a local brand, and I can still make it look as dope as anything that the high beast post might throw up. I can make this shit look good. You feel me? And it's all from Chicago. So I take pride in that, man. To stepping out in an event and people like, man, what's that? I'm like, this leaders, man. This is Chicago version of Supreme in my mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one thing that I've always been wondering, man, because we do some dope shit in Chicago. I just feel like we get overlooked and overshadowed by New York and California all the time. But in Chicago, we create some of the most unique, dopest things that hit the market. Your voice, I feel like it can be applied to any coast. If they did put you in a situation in Cali or New York, I don't feel like that. I feel like you'll easily translate. And I feel like if we get more opportunities coming our way, we can continue to build on this Chicago thing, man, and support our own. So, I'm always rooting for you and Leon, man. I'm always in y'all corner, and everybody else from Chicago. I want to see y'all win also. So, man, one thing that I do know about you is you and your squad, man, y'all like the elite when it comes to like the late night parties, you know what I'm saying? And the events around the city. I wanted to ask you one question about that night, and be real with me, man. Has any deals been struck in the nightlife scene? Do deals
Oh,
get struck? Do deals
oh,
get struck in the club?
oh yeah. Oh man, yeah, man. Oh yeah. I won't speak to any of the deals, but it has been like, yo, man, like people that come and they'll come in the city and they like, yo, my guy hosted something, like, all right, cool. And I take them out. We out here and they see, so people feeling the energy. So, and I tell people, I tell people, anybody, I look anybody in their face and tell them this to their face. And this me get on my thing, in my bag. I said, you really can't feel what I got in the city unless you come out with me.
Yeah.
You can't really feel it unless you come out. And, once they come out and they see it, they're like, oh, I get it now. And then we start talking business. Hey, man, email me in the morning and we'll have real conversations about stuff. It's just, I've had a lot of real conversations with people in the nightclub. Early in the nightclub, because when it's late, I don't like to talk business after like.
Right. Yeah. Once them drinks start sinking in, you like, all right, let's just chill from here.
Let's chill. But a lot of times people, we run ideas past each other. There's been times that me and my guys that, we'll be like, yo, we could do this. We in a whole business meeting inside of the nightclub. And we ain't paying attention to nothing that's had. Other bottles came. Oh, okay, cool. And we in there really talking about making moves. So, yeah, it just happens organically in that way. But, yeah, for sure.
I love that, man, because I tell people all the time, like, I'm still learning and develop as I go. But a lot of people that I talk to are, I'm not the type of person that think I know everything. I'm like a sponge. I'm soaking it up from everywhere. You can be just Joe Blow off the street. If you make a good point, I'm taking notes. Like, yeah, like that's some good shit. So to hear you say that and compared to the other things that I've been hearing, a lot of people, they try to go to the brunches, the day brunch, or they try to go to these very calm atmospheres. And I'm like, man, I'm one of the people that like to get out. So they hear you say that, like, that's something that anybody watching this can apply to their life. Like, man, it's because I know that when people come to Chicago, a lot of times if they're not from Chicago, they come here to party and get out. So a lot of times it'd be hard to catch some of these people anywhere except the club. You know what I'm saying? So to hear that you can still make it a productive day by, being in that environment, I think a lot of people can take that and run with it.
Yeah. And then I always tell people like, yo, they asking me, and I ain't gonna say my formula is the best formula because there's many ways to get to the end of the road or the goal, so to speak. It's like, yo, one of the main things that I think for me, this worked for me, and I don't know if is that people can always say, they can go back like, yo, dude been outside for a minute. Like, I know him. Like, I done party with him. I done had conversations with him. I done seen him. So I've never been a person to be one of those, the celebrity or the influencer that wants to be behind the scenes or you only see me as special stuff. I don't go to everything, but I go to most things. And I want people to be able to see me. I want people to be able to talk to me, because the more people that kind of touch you and feel you and know you, that's another thing that people, you can't never put a price on that type of promotion. When somebody that ran into you and you only had a 5-second conversation with them. Somebody might say, yo, I watched Flight School TV. And that moment where you could have said, oh, man, I appreciate you, bro, man. Thanks a lot, man. I'm putting a new episode out like tomorrow. So, man, check it out. All right, cool, bro. At that moment, meant a lot to that person. It meant a lot to that person. And if you handled it another way, you could have lost. He could have went and told 30 more people that really rock with him. They're going to listen to what he say. So I've always been taught that, like, yo, treat everybody cool. And especially, like, and it's going to sound, it sounds weird. Women give other women compliments. Women will give another guy a compliment. They just do. That's just, women have no problems with their emotions. They just, they let it out. Guys, we don't do that all the time unless we really, really rock with you.
Yep.
So guy comes up to you and says he rocks with you and he appreciate what you're doing, that's coming from a real place.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, like, when dudes come up to me and be like, yo, Tone, like, and I done had some people abuse that and say some wild stuff to me, and I don't even engage in it. I just kind of be like, all right, whatever, and I just walk away. But it still won't keep me from when a dude comes up to me and says, hey, bro, I rock with you, bro. I'm like, man, I appreciate it because it means something to me because I know guys don't give other guys comments unless they really rock with them.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. And I think one aspect about you that get overlooked, man, is your sense of style. I think people sleeping on you, big dog, because I know you got them gems in the closet, man. Like I said, I follow you and Leon, man. Y'all like my blueprint as far as like doing what I'm doing, man. And both of y'all, Leon got the the OG swag, and you with the shit though. You with everything going on. You know what I'm saying? I know you rock the Louis. I know you rock the Off-White and brands like that. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that I love about you, and this is what made me want to talk to you, outside of the fact that I consume your content and I follow what you do, but this is something that made me specifically want to reach out to you, is the fact that you got all the hyped up shit. Like, you got all that shit. But you still make it a priority, in my mind, this is just me, the outside looking in, to make sure that when you post a picture on Instagram, you and the leaders, you and the Fat Tiger, you and the Style Guys, or Icon, like, these are Chicago brands, and you supporting the crib. And I don't know if people see your post, and I don't know if they even connect one and two together, that not only is you posting, you know what I'm saying, that you in this atmosphere, you kicking it, or you getting this fit off, but you also highlighting the Chicago brand that's going to bring them attention, that's going to bring them revenue, more followers. And I don't think people appreciate that enough about you and Leon, because Leon been doing that shit for a long time. When I did the interview with Leon Rogers, we talked about that moment when he did the Showtime special, I think it was, and he was wearing a Fashion Geek and a leader's hat. And that was one of the biggest moments that I know Leon Rogers for. And on that biggest stage, he was putting on, and even in that moment, being selfless to put on somebody else. And I see the same traits with you about the brands that you choose to wear, and not just wear. I gotta make sure that we saying this right. Because you don't just not only do you support them and buy these clothes from these brands, but you also make it a priority to put it on your social media, put them on blast, like, look, this is what I'm wearing. You see it. It say it right here. You know what I'm saying? So where did that come from?
That's just really, and I Corey, Vic, Big Lloyd, man, everybody connected with leaders, Diego, shout out Zoe, Fashion Geek, Dave, Jeff. That's why I did, because I really like a fashion dude. I really appreciate it. You know what I mean? Jerry Lorenzo, I'm a fashion dude. And in a way, it's more, I'm a fan in that way, and a fan in that way. And I appreciate people that, Joe Fresh Goods, and I appreciate what we do here. And I remember when I used to go to leaders, and I was like, man, I would go to other stores and shout out to them. They know who they are. Dress to Impress. I used to be on there on Sibley all the time. But I wanted to wear stuff, man, that everybody wasn't rocking. Everybody wasn't rocking at that time. So I'm like, yo, I got to find something. I can't be looking like, everybody else. And I start going there, and they leads like, yo, man, people don't know about this T-shirt, this Fashion Geek, or this, we got our own hats. And before I knew it, in my mind, I'm like, man, if it ain't this, it ain't that. How do people gonna know that's fly? How do they gonna know that's like? But then I'm wearing leaders hats when I'm going out of town, and dudes is like, yo, what's that, bro? What's that? Like, leaders, where's that at? Oh man, that's my boy's store. This is like early on. And quiet as Kevin, you can ask Leon this. I put Leon on leaders. Leon was like, yo, whatever that is, bro, it's dope. Leon went down there and went crazy and kept going back. When Leon left Our and went to GCI, he put Tony Schofield on leaders. I used to see Leon in so much leaders. I was like, man, I can't compete with this, because he worked down the street from leaders. he be at leaders all the time. But it was like, man, at that time, and the more that I got, the more that I got into the Chicago fashion, I started really just being like, yo, this is cool. It ain't really about, you can be fly without people having Louis Vuitton stuff. It ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but it can, you know, you can have things, and especially in streetwear in this space, and it don't have to be super out the door expensive. You know what I mean? It don't got to be a $300 t-shirt. You can have some on leaders that's a cool ass colorway to go with your mics, some subtle jeans, and you all right. And you got a hat that ain't nobody seen before because the leaders' hats are amazing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's for sure. I'll tell anybody that is flat out anybody that makes hats, they make the best hats. Yep. Period.
Shout out to Coley and them at New Era too, man. Love y'all, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. And they made me a hat. And shout out to New Era, they gave me hats, bro. I didn't wear a different hat. It was a radio antenna hat. I did not wear a different hat for probably like 2 years. They gave me so many hats. I didn't wear a different hat for like 2 years. So I appreciate them for that, man. That was a good look. But yeah.
That's dope, man. I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't work for none of these companies, man. I just love my city so much. You know what I'm saying? I want to see us all win. And when I see people like yourself willing to step out and post what you wearing and be wearing the Chicago brand, I think that says a lot about your character, man. I really do. But I ain't gonna hold you too long. I wanna stop and pivot into this last minute segment called the 2-3. This is where I ask you 2 questions and you give me your best 3 answers. All
okay.
Right. So first question: top 3 Jordans by the model.
Jordan 1s, of course, and Jordan 3s, of course, and the 6s.
Name 3 events that you wish would come to Chicago in 2021. It can be the Olympics, it can be Grammys, anything.
I want Complex Con back. I also want I wish, but we can't have it. So what else would I? Complex Con. I like us to have I want us to have an NBA final. An NBA finals are supposed to be in the finals, but that now happens. Something in the lines of like the Met Gala, something huge like that, like the Met, something like that. They had everybody fashion and entertainment together here.
Man, I love that, man. Tone Kapone, man, I thank you so much for taking the time out to chop it up with me, man. It's been a long time coming, but you're a man of your word. You stood on that, man, and you blessed my platform with your presence. And I want to let you know I appreciate you and everything that you do for the city, big dog.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I thank you very much. Make sure y'all listen to me on GCI. Follow me on social media at Tone Kapone 33. Check out my new podcast, What More Can I Say? With Zach Bug and Kiki, and anytime, bro. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you sharing your platform.
Man, Tone, I'm gonna go subscribe to that podcast right now, and I'm gonna attach links to this video. And I couldn't ask for a better interview, man. Thank you.
No problem. Be blessed.
Love.